Welcome to Elevated, the place where spirituality meets motherhood and where healing and everyday life intertwine. I'm Dawn, a Reiki master, Akashic records reader, natural wellness seeker, and a mom to a curious and spiritual boy. Each week, we'll explore energy healing and soul alignment while embracing the beauty and chaos of mom life. Let's awaken together. Welcome to Elevated. Welcome to Elevated. I'm Dawn. How are you doing? I hope you're doing wonderful. It is the first day of October, which means it is sweater weather right now. I'm excited. I love putting on my hoodie. I love going outside. When it is cooler, I feel more motivated to do the outside work now, to clean up the yard. I'm not in a rushed pace because winter's going to be coming, but just it's the right temperature. You can go out, you can work the whole day and you're not sweating and hot and gross and sticky. You're just at a nice temperature. The breeze is nice and you can get so much more done. That's just how I always feel. Fall time for myself and my husband, it's the perfect time for us to get all of our outside stuff done before the winter season is coming. My husband was sick this last week with a cold. My son was sick for about a day this last week. I've been taking honey to help my throat and hopefully not being so stuffed up. I apologize if I sound a little bit off today. I did want to talk a little bit about immunity because I know last week I talked about that in my podcast about how we're keeping my son's immunity up while he's going to school and stuff like that. And as you just heard, my husband did actually get sick last week. It started a week ago today and he got up and he's like, I just don't feel good. My throat's sore, not feeling himself, just a little bit under the weather. And he went to work all week and he didn't have downtime to get better. But I noticed this time around, he wasn't pounding the cold pills like he normally would be doing. He was a little bit more open to doing more of my natural remedies that I would do. And one of them is the honey and garlic, which I explained last week in my podcast. And he took the honey from that, and I do believe that helped him. But the other one that I had him do, and he doesn't like this one, but whatever, he did do it and it did help him, was I take an onion and I chop off both ends of the onion and then I just cut it into 4 and put it in a little bowl. And you carry that onion around with you and you put it beside yourself when you're going to bed. And what it does is it actually helps you to breathe. So it gets rid of, if you're having a runny nose, it'll get rid of the runny nose. And if you have a stuffed up nose, it'll help your stuffed up nose and it'll actually help you to breathe. And therefore you can actually have a better sleep. And you know, to get better, you need rest. The other one that you can do too is you can take a part of the onion and you could put it on your foot, just like one sliver of the peel of the onion and put it on your foot and then put a sock on that and leave that overnight as well. And that'll help draw out the toxins from your body. Normally when my son gets sick, because he did get sick for a day, I would do that too for him. But we did the onion trick for him the one night and that helped. And we didn't need to put any of this onions on his feet at all. And he was asking for his honey and garlic. He's like, can I have honey? Can I have honey? So I think we did 2 doses of honey a day for him first thing in the morning and then just before bed for a couple of days. And he only had about a day where he wasn't feeling great. Anyways, what I wanted to talk about this week is property clearing. What is property clearing? What do I do with a property clearing? Why do you want to get your property cleared? All that kind of stuff. What is a property clearing and why would you want a property clearing done? With everything, we know everything is energy. Your car is energy, you are energy, your house is energy, the chair that you're sitting on is energy, your phone is energy, the speakers you're listening to this podcast through is energy. Everything is made up of energy. Now with energy, it can be a high vibrational energy. It could be a low vibrational energy. And energy absorbs energy and energy can change, right? It's fluid. We also know that we attract we attract the same vibrational energies back to us that we are emitting. Meaning if you're a high vibrational, you're putting out high vibrations, you're getting back high vibrations. If you're putting out low vibrations, you're getting low vibrations. You are essentially a mirror of anything that's happening in your life. You are a mirror. If somebody isn't listening to you, turn that back around. Are you listening to people? Being that mirror, what we're putting out and then reflecting that back into it. Essentially do that with our home. Our home is attracted to us and we are attracted to our home because on a vibrational level, we are matched. Now, with a home, It can pick up other people's energies, people coming over to your house, people that lived in your house prior to you, your neighbors and their thoughts about your house, their thoughts about you, their thoughts about your yard, people driving by, people talking about your house, realtors if it's on the market, people looking at the house if you're selling it. All of that is coming into your house, and your house is absorbing that energy. You could be a super high vibrational person, and if you say have a couple of neighbors that are unhappy with, say, how your yard looks, and they are casting negativity towards your yard, that could change the vibration of your house. Now that is going to change the vibration of you, because we are energy. We're all a mirror. What goes out comes in, same things. Your house now is getting that, and that's going into you. With property clearing, we can clear the property distantly. I do not have to be at your house to clear your property. You could be in England and I could clear your property for you. You could be my neighbor and I don't have to go to your house to physically clear your property. Properties can be cleared if you are the financial owner of the property, meaning you are living there and financially contributing to the house in some way. Say your husband pays the mortgage, you pay the bills, you're still financially contributing by paying the bills of that home. You can request to have a property clearing done on your home. If you rent an apartment, you can only clear your physical apartment that you are renting. You cannot clear the hallway, the common space at the door, the mechanical room, the green space surrounding the apartment. You can only physically clear, say, your 900 square foot apartment. You can clear businesses and workspaces if you financially pay for it. If you're renting a business space, you can clear that business space that you are renting. However, if you work, say, in corporate and you're going to an office building, you cannot clear the office building. You could, in a way, do an energy cleanse of your cubicle, but otherwise you can't clear your business. And land. If you own the land, you can clear that land. Now, if you're a farmer, quite frequently you own most of that land. You can clear all of your land. And maybe, I'm just putting this out there, if you are a farmer listening, maybe you should be clearing your land frequently so that you're getting better crops, better yields in your crops. It's just something that popped into my mind right now. I would be very interested to work with a farmer and to be clearing some of their land. Maybe there's a chunk of land that you're having a lot of problems with that usually, gets hailed out, gets drought, hard to grow a lot of stuff. Your yield is very low. I would be very interested to work with you with that land. I think that would be interesting to see what we could come up with and how we could change that and correct that for you. I have even taken the property clearing to clear a vehicle that we owned that I wanted to sell. I have done that as well so that we can get the right buyer to buy it and it doesn't have all of the previous owners' negativity about it, and we can just clear the slate on it. Property clearing is ideal for homes, businesses, home businesses. So for myself, we run my husband's company out of our house, and I run some side companies out of our house as well. So we can clear our home as a whole, and then the two areas that we use as our offices, we can clear those as well to ensure that we are getting the best for his company, my company, and then our house as well. A business, if you're finding that you're having bad luck, if you're finding there's a lot more money going out than, say, coming in, or you're not able to keep the money in with the business and your profits are getting lower, you definitely would want to look into getting a property clearing of that business. And you can also do not even just a property clearing, but you can clear the records of that business as well through the Akashic records. If you think that you have spiritual activity in your house or around your house or the property, that's a good time to think about getting a property clearing done as well. If you are sleepless, if you are dysregulated, if your house is a lot of arguments or tension, or just that negative sort of vibe, it would be good to look at getting a property clearing done as well. If you are not on good terms with your neighbors, that's always good too, because then you know that there's kind of words probably getting said between you and them. That's going to affect your property as well. If you're in an area where there's a lot of vandalism or a not so safe, comfortable area, then a property clearing will help increase the vibration of your home, which then will actually deter those lower energy people away from your place. It's essentially a way to protect your house if you are in some of those neighborhoods that aren't always the best neighborhoods, and there's a lot more conflict going on, or vandalism or fear within those neighborhoods. That would be a good idea then to get a property clearing done as well. Every house has a story to tell, whether if it's brand new, never been lived in before, you're the first owners, whether you are the 50th owner and you have a 1900s home. There is a story in every single home, from when it was being built, from where the wood came from where the products came from the contractors building the home. Even if you were the contractor, that energy is all put into the home. And not only that, but the land that the home is sitting on, that has a story to tell, and that has energy as well. And as I said before, every home has so many people visiting it, coming in, going out, and every time you have visitors, it's leaving energy behind. Every time someone drives by your house and comments, whether if it's good or negative on your house, that's leaving an energy imprint on your house and property. One thing that I think people don't think about often enough is if you are selling your house or if you are buying your house, a property clearing would be beneficial. Let's start with if you're selling your house. If you are selling your house, and we just found out and we learned that like attracts like. Same vibration attracts. If your vibration is not at a vibrational match of somebody that is looking at your house, the potential of them buying that house is going to decrease. If you can do a property clearing when you put your house up for sale and get it to a neutral state, you are going to have more people interested in buying your house. The sale should go quicker and faster because it is at a neutral state. Versus if you have a very high vibrational house, you are going to need high vibrational people to come and purchase the house, because someone with a lower vibration is not going to purchase a higher vibrational house, and vice versa. If you have a lower vibrational house, higher vibrational people are not going to buy a lower vibrational house. So if you can get it to neutral, I can go either way at that point. It's always best to do a property clearing if you're looking at selling your house. Now, if you had just bought a house, it is very beneficial to do a property clearing of that place to get it back to neutral. So it's your energy in that house and not the other people's energy in that house. And just think about this. Have you ever gone into someone's house after they've had an argument and you feel that tension? You feel that stress? You feel that anger and negativity depending on how bad the argument was? And when you're buying a house, there is a lot of stress on the homeowners. There's stress on selling the house because you don't know what their financial situation is. How fast do they have to sell this house? Why are they selling the house? Did they really want to sell it? Is it because they have to because they're moving somewhere, but this is their dream house and now they're leaving their dream house? So there's all that sadness within there. Did maybe somebody pass away in that house and they're leaving the house because it just reminds them so much of that house? All that vibrational energy is within that house, and you would be walking into that. So if you clear it, you again have that neutral state, that neutral platform where it's your energy going into the house. Again, what did the other neighbors think of the people that are selling it? Was it good? Was it negative? There's always that to take into consideration. It's not just the energy of people walking in that door, it's also the energy of the people around that area. So by clearing it, you're going to get that neutral state, and you can basically start from scratch or start from fresh. Some people may have a very dramatic family, lifestyle, busyness, and that's all going to be brought into the house as well. It's always best to try and clear the house, especially like I said, if you are selling the house or if you are purchasing the house to get it back to the neutral state. By clearing a property, whether if it's one that you are selling, one that you are purchasing, or one that you have been in for the last year, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years, by clearing your property. And I'm basically talking about homes, but this applies to businesses as well. The energy becomes a match for the people within the home, within the business. It just becomes a match for you again. You're getting rid of any energy that doesn't match where you vibrationally are running. Some issues that could potentially happen either to your home or to your business if you have too much energy within the home is the difficulties of sleeping. Are you noticing that you're waking up 1, 2, 3, 4 times a night? Are you staying awake longer? Is it kind of around the same time every single night? There could be issues with your electrical, technical field, so TVs, computers, obviously your electrical, feel like your lights are flickering, flooding in your home. Is there unease in the home as well? The electromagnetic field in the home could be interfering with your actual body cells. Now, you're not going to know that, but it could be happening. We could put a protection on so that doesn't happen anymore. More vandalism within your home, within your area, or more break-ins. And it maybe isn't your house specifically, but say it's the neighbor beside you or the neighbor across the road or something like that. You might be like, oh, I don't know about this area. Maybe I should get my property clearing so that this doesn't happen to me. What affects your property's energy level? Like what affects the vibration of your property? A negative belief and imprint is thoughts that you are having within your home. So if you were saying, my home is always messy, there's no love, I'm not loved, there's, the arguments that would happen within the home, the disagreements that are going to happen within the home, the fears that happen within a home, that is all going to be a negative belief and imprint that is put onto your home, your house's energy or business energy, whichever you want to look at. And then there is direct negative beliefs and imprints, and that would be when a neighbor or someone driving by or someone that visits your home has that thought, and then they direct that onto you and your house. There are the two different types. You can have what is known as earthbound attachments to your property, souls who remain attached to the properties. Doesn't necessarily have to be like someone died in the house to have that soul there. It could be a family member that used to live in that house and they've moved out. They are now an adult living their life and they've since passed, and then their energy is still attached to that house. It's just maybe that was like the greatest time of their life. They loved their family so much. It just brought back so many memories and joys for them, or maybe it was very traumatic for them. Some can be disruptive, but typically they're not disruptive. The more earthbound attachments that you have on your property, the more uneasy you're going to feel in that property. And it can lead to confusion, anxiety, stuckness, frustration, sadness, drama, upheaval, disorganization within the actual property. There could be a portalway and a gateway, and either one of these, you are going to have that weird, uneasy sort of feeling. They're usually found in a corner, in closets, mirrors. Let's just talk mirrors for a second. You go to the store, you buy a mirror thinking it's brand new. That mirror has the energy of every single person that's walked by it, that's looked at it. You don't know if somebody looked in that mirror and had a very extreme negative thought. You don't know if somebody looked in that mirror and had a very extreme positive thought. You're picking up on all that energy. If you were to get a old antique mirror, think about how long that mirror has been around and how many potential people have looked and had thoughts within that mirror. The mirrors bring in a lot more negativity, essentially, and you don't really know what somebody thought process is to bring into that mirror. So be very careful when it comes to mirrors. If a child or a pet seems to avoid a certain area, that could be a potential sign to you that maybe that is a portalway or a gateway as well. What's the difference between a portal and a gateway? A portal may open and then close, all depending on the energy within the home. A gateway is an energetic highway. If you look at a portalway, it's a doorway. Maybe 1, 2 souls kind of come through. A gateway is a constant back and forth, in, out, basically like a highway. So you could look at a portalway as a slow country gravel road, and then you could look at a gateway as if it's literally a highway and the different flow of vehicles on those roads. We could relate that to the different flow of energies coming in and out of your house. They are extremely disruptive within your home because it's a constant energy flow in, out, in, out, in, out. It could cause you to lose sleep. It can cause you to get very grumpy and dysregulated. It can cause you to become unfocused. It can cause you to be lethargic. Gateways just draw a lot of energy from the people living within that home or working within that business. It can make it hard to manifest what you want. And depending on how many gateways you have, it could literally turn off any home buyers that are coming through because they're getting that energetic feel. That's the other one, to want to cleanse your house if you're selling it and or if you're just buying a new one, to cleanse all of that, to close those down so you don't have that disruption within your home. It can make you feel uncomfortable. Gateways are rare in a home. It's not to say that your home will have it, and it's not to say your home won't have it. It's not to say your home will only have one or your home will have 10. They're very, very rare, and it's all dependent on, in my opinion, it's all dependent on the land in which you are in and where you are. Then you have your land energy. So the energy of the actual physical earth in which you have built your home or your home was built on. Land has been around longer than man. The amount of energy that is within this land is unbelievable. Land has actually been assigned different purposes. You could have land assigned of a sacred site. This is typically sites from tribal times, past times with very energetic and powerful events. It can make you feel uncomfortable. You could have a lot more problems, especially like if you're building and it's on a sacred land site. You could have more fires, you could have flooding, you could have more upheavals within that area. A battleground, pretty much like it sounds like. It could be from tribal times, it could be from wars. It's going to withhold all the energy of the battles that have been fought there. The land is going to bring upheavals, depression, aggression, sadness. Could have a lot of earthbound souls attached to the property. And let's think about that again. It's a battleground. If it was in a war zone, if it was a battle happening back in, say, tribal times even, there were those battles. And those people that happen to have passed, you have a higher chance of their energy staying there. You're going to have those earthbound souls that are essentially, and I don't always like the word, but stuck. They're stuck there and their energy is stuck there. You can have burial grounds. So burial grounds obviously would be used as a gravesite of some sort. Now, it could be from this day and age. It could be from past times. It could be tribal times. It could be times that we didn't even know previous. If you think, maybe in Egypt, the tombs. We also would know that there's going to be a large number of earthbound souls within that burial ground. And this could lead to a lot of anxiety, a lot of unrest, a lot of discomfort, a lot of frustration, and a lot of sadness. That could all be a part of your property, and you haven't even realized that your land or your business is perhaps on a sacred site, on a battleground, on a burial site, which then, if you don't clear your property, you're going to have all of that as well. When you do a property clearing through the Akashic records, you can find out if you have a land assignment like that, and you can actually go in and reassign the land to be a land for homes or businesses versus being assigned a sacred site, a burial site, a battleground site. I want to get into my land and where I live. So I love doing property clearings because I see how profound it can be. And I say this because when my husband and I bought our land, we knew and we assumed, but we had a deep knowing that we were going to have a lot of spiritual activity on this land. And you're like, how did you know this? There's a number of ways. We live right by a lake. If you stand on our deck, you can see the lake. We are on top of the valley. Just before you turn into our development, you go past a trading post, and it's an historic site. It's upkept. It's really cool to go visit and see, but that would have been a trading post. We have neighbors that have found TP rings on their land. We know because this is a major lake throughout our province and it connects into all the other lakes, this was a very busy highway in tribal times. It would have been loaded with people because you have resources. You have some trees, you have the lake, you have the valley. There would have been a lot of wildlife. When I was able to do property clearing, I was so excited to do our house. This is a brand new house. We are the only people to ever live in this house. We know that this land that it used to be a farmer's field that was made into residential acreages sits on very spiritual land. It wasn't put past me that we would have a lot of activity per se. And when we built our house, there were certain areas that I did not like being in our house. Number one, in the basement behind our hot water heater, it gave me the creeps every time. I hated it. It's in the mechanical room, very well lit up mechanical room. It just always had that dark feeling in that corner. I was always very uncomfortable, very unsettled in that corner. I tried to avoid that corner as much as I possibly could. The thing though, and I being who I am, knew that walls do not block energy. That corner butts up against my stepson's closet, and I never liked going into his closet. It just, again, was something that bothered me. Now, we didn't put doors on his closet, so it was always open into his room. And his room always kind of had that sort of unease feeling to it. He never was the type of teenager to want to stay in the basement by himself. He came down and went to his room, but he didn't stay in his room. He didn't hang out in the rumpus room. The basement was fairly empty, and we had a couch and a TV down there. We had TV in his room for him with satellite, so he could just hang out and watch his TV shows if that's what he wanted to do. He never did. He always sat on the couch with us until we went to bed, and then he came down to his own room. But in the morning, as soon as he got up, he was upstairs. He did not stay downstairs. It was not a place where he ever really felt comfortable. The other one is our spare room, which is now my son's room, always kind of had an off vibe to it. I never really liked it. It was never a place where I felt really good. And my husband would be snoring, and we had a bed in there. And so one night I was like, I'm just going to go into the spare room. I need to have a good sleep. And I was laying in the bed in there. I literally heard, plain as day, someone yell in my ear, "Dawn!" And it woke me up from my sleep, and I was scared. I went back to my husband. I was like, snoring or not, I'm not sleeping in that room. Not when someone's literally yelling my name in the middle of my sleep. Like, what the heck is going on? And then after that, I closed up that room and I didn't really go into that room. I just had no use. When I got my Reiki level 1, I decided at that point in time, we were going to make this my Reiki room. And the energy changed because I had my crystals in there and I was doing Reiki in there, and a lot of good energy, good healing energy was happening in that room. And I felt that the energy of that room had shifted, which was really good, because then when I found out I was pregnant, we knew that my son was going to be put in that room. And it always felt good. It felt cozy. It felt comfortable at that point in time. However, that closet still bothered me. The door doesn't shut properly on it. It just bothered me. There is a light in our pantry. It's an occupancy light. So when you open the door, the light turns on. The door is closed all the time. It's off to the corner. We do have glass inserts in our door, but we're not by that door. 2 a.m, I can wake up and the light in the pantry is on. 1 a.m, 12, middle of the day, the light turns on. The light just comes on all the time. It's always been like that. I'm like, there's no airflow in there to even move a bag, for like a bag to maybe wave and turn on the light. There's no movement in there. It's a closed door with just stuff on a shelf. That light should not be coming on unless I physically go into there. Even if I walked by, I could understand walking by might turn it on. Just knowing that we had a lot of this stuff happen. There was even a time where on my deck, I told people, I have these 2 chairs out on my deck so the guys that are outside on my deck can just sit there and hang out. I said, they're good. They don't come in my house. They just sit on my deck and hang out all the time. I told this to my Reiki master and she goes, Dawn, you might actually want to move those guys on. They don't need to be hanging out on your deck. She's like, they are going to cause disruption for you. You should probably ask them to leave. I'm like, she told me how to cross them over, and I'll explain that. Well, I'll do that right now, I guess. So what she said to do to cross them over is you picture a ladder, stairway, something, and you say to them, hey guys, Thank you for being here. Thank you for protecting us, but you're no longer welcomed here. I don't need you and I don't want you here. This is my house now, my property, my land. May you please leave. And here is a stairway to go, and you can picture them going into like the afterlife or, a rainbow, or you could just ask them to leave and not even have a stairway. Just be like, you're not welcome here anymore. You do have to leave. I don't care where you go, but you can't be here anymore. So there's a couple of different ways that you can do that. At this point in time, I just asked them to leave and I crossed them over. They were from tribal times, definitely. Very nice, very friendly. They just sat out there, almost like they were always just having their coffee, enjoying the view, enjoying the beautiful weather. They never came in. They were very respectful of that. I always knew that we had very special land, very busy land, if you will. So when I did the property clearing, of course, what came up is our personal independent negative beliefs that we had, and there was 5 of them. We had some imprints. So imprints of other people. Maybe it was an imprint from the guy that we originally bought the land from. Maybe it's a neighbor. Maybe it's somebody else that maybe wanted our land. Whatever the case might be, there was an imprint from that. There, of course, are outside beliefs from other people. And then we had our earthbound souls that we ended up with that were just hanging out around the house, land, whatever. We had 6 of them. And when I do this too, I find out the energy behind these souls. So with our 6 earthbound souls, we had some with depression, abandonment, hatred, confusion, overwhelm, isolation. That's just some of the energy that was coming through our house. We had one soul that had conflict, and it was one that's been around a little bit longer. And then we had our disruptive souls, which are more of your older souls that have been here the longest on earth that like need to leave, right? They need to definitely go back. They've been earthbound, trapped for far too long. And we had 3 of those. So in total, we had 10 souls that were just hanging out in our house, on our land, and our disruptive souls were longing, frustration, and bitterness. That's what they were bringing into our house. 10 of them. 10 other energies, not including my husband, my son, myself, my stepson. 10 other energies that were within this house all the time. Then we get into, of course, our portals. Just like I said, I felt these weird places within our home. So our portals, we had 4 of them. And because it was my house and I know my house, I asked where these portals were. Now, if I'm doing a property clearing for somebody else and I don't necessarily know where they are, or I don't know the floor plan of their house, or I don't get the feeling of their house, I probably won't ask where they are. I'll just say you have 4 portals within your house that I've closed down, and you'll know where they are. You'll know where the uneasy feelings within your house are, but I know where the uneasy feelings within my house is. 1, the mechanical room by the old water heater tank, because we have since upgraded our water heater. The mechanical room. Remember I said I never had a good feeling in that corner. It always creeped me out. That portal there's. That's just like our energetic gravel road, we'll say, right? If you come in, if you go out, every so often. My stepson's closet. You take the wall out, you're looking at the same place behind the water heater. That portal, I'm going to say, was on both sides of that wall. It was just that big of a portal that it ended up in 2 rooms. My son's closet, like I said, it to this day still bothers me. That closet still bothers me. And the pantry, where the light kept going on and off, on and off, on and off, on and off. Again, those are the places before I ever did my property clearing that I always felt were a little bit more uneasy or something was going on. Take note of that in your house. If you have those places, please get a property clearing done. Let's close those down. You don't need that energy coming in and out. Again, because of where we live and knowing what land history we have, it did not surprise me that we had gateway. But we had 3 gateways. That is very unheard of. But we had one in our garage, which, yep, always kind of felt like there's someone in the garage. One within our valley. So our property, we have 12 acres. We do have a valley in the back part of our house. And then the front half of our outside yard. Again, our land was classified as a sacred site. Like I said, we had the teepee rings within our area. We have the trading post less than a kilometer away from us. The lake is right there that connects to all the other lakes within Saskatchewan through the river system and creek system. This would have been a very busy highway back in tribal times. We'll just say that. Some of the things that we've had in our house that have happened because we're on a sacred site, basically what's happening with a sacred site is the energies of the sacred site and the land is saying there is not to be a home here. This is sacred land. These homes should not be here. And they are trying to get you off. This land is trying to get you to go away. Okay? It doesn't want you here. And I'll just talk about some things that have happened in our own property, but also in properties around my development. Now, in our own specific lot, in our own specific house, we had a flood, a weird flood. So what had happened is my husband and I, we were going to go out for supper the one day. And I was like, you know what? I want to go home first. I used the washroom. I went to flush the toilet and it didn't flush. I was like, that is so weird. Why do we not have water to the toilet? And so I came downstairs. And as I walked down the stairs, I just heard the water. And I ran back outside. I didn't even know what was going on. I'm like, Tim. And he knows if I get the Tim in a certain pitch and way I say it, there's something going on. He's like, what? I'm like, the water is flooding the basement. And he's like, what? I'm like, there's water in the basement. So he comes in and sure enough, what had happened is the water main valve, the top popped off. We have water coming in. We are trying everything to stop this water. Okay. It's the water main valve. The problem is you can't just turn the valve off. It's not going to turn it off. That part's gone. It's not working. We literally were racking our brains. I'm calling our friends. Do you think you could come and help us? Do you have the tool for the curb stop? I don't have the curb stop. But anyways, long story short, we're going. And finally, I looked at my husband. I'm like, is there a way, I said, that we could just turn the water off to the whole development? I said, I know it's going to be an inconvenience. And he's like, yeah. He's like, why didn't I think of it? I know exactly where the key is to the well. I'm going to go turn it off. So he went and turned the water off to the development, which then gave us a little bit of time to think. And then we were able to actually dig down and get our curb stop and turn it off. Because the problem with our curb stop is it's in the ground up at the front of the curb and weeds have gotten in there. Dirt has gotten in there. It's, it's full. So anyways, needless to say, we had a flood in our basement. We had a fire in our basement, a very small fire, mind you, but we had a fire. So what happened is my husband and I, we went to a wedding. My stepson was with his mom for the day. He called us. He said, can I get this remote control car? We're sure. This is something that you're interested in. This is something that you enjoy. So yeah, by all means, it was a special car with special batteries. So he brings it home that night. And he goes and he plugs it in to charge the batteries, only we forgot on his charger to turn the charger to the proper battery setting. And in the middle of the night, he had it in his room on the floor and it burst. And I had a little rug to make his room a little cozier at the end of his bed of fake fur and it caught on fire. He comes up the stairs. Somehow my husband heard his son go, Dad. Again, we all have that tone. And he's like, oh my God, Spencer's calling my name in that tone. Something's going on. And Tim gets up. He's like, yeah. He goes, there's a fire in my room. Of course, we're then coming downstairs. We're racing that rug out because we're like, oh my God, if that catches onto his bed, all this stuff. And we're like, how do we put this fire out? So we finally get this fire out. Literally, we had a random fire in our house, which could have made a big fire. Never mind the other time when I was dealing with using stainless steel pans and we ended up with a bit of a grease fire from that. We've had some potentials of having major issues within our house. Thank God we have not. I cross our fingers that we haven't had, but we've had them. Our neighbors, different neighbors within our development. We have one neighbor that went to the city for 6 hours and came back and their whole house was flooded because the plastic valve that everybody has on their toilet broke. Just randomly, out of nowhere. We've had one house in this development that has been hit with lightning 2 or 3 times. The house next to it has been hit with lightning. We had another guy's house burned down. I'm just trying to think other weird things that have happened that we know about within just our development itself that would say, hey, this is not a place for homes. This is sacred land. Please remove these houses. And literally the land is trying to go back to its neutral, which is there's no homes on this land. This is sacred land. You're not supposed to be here, and tried to get us to go off. Did the property clearing June, I would have done them. And since then, way less stress. Things in the house have been good. When I did the property clearing, the energy shifted in the house. We were calmer. We were more patient. Even our dogs were better. Like we have one dog that just has like this massive anxiety when we leave. Like she is in full panic mode. And I think that's probably because when we're gone, I'm sure the house gets busy. I'm sure a lot of stuff happens when we're gone and she sees it. She knows it. I did the property clearing and she seemed calmer and better when we were gone. However, I have noticed about a month after, maybe 6 weeks after the property clearing, our pantry light going off again. There for a while, it wasn't going off at all. Now it's going off. Sleep is becoming more disturbed within the house between my old dog who's 16. My husband's sleep is disturbed. My son's sleep is disturbed. My sleep is disturbed. My son is getting up in the night. And I have noticed that he's been putting his hand over his ears like someone is talking to him in the middle of the night. And he's like, no, 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 no. Like he's just trying to block out this noise that is happening. His closet's been giving me the creeps again. We had a mirror in his room too. And I actually physically took it out of his room. He's not allowed to have it. I bought it. And I should just literally just donate it and get it out of our house. I just feel like that's a portal way with that mirror. Just even now I have it like turned around up against a door because I just haven't taken it out of the house, but it needs to go. It's just a mirror that bothers me. I went back to my instructor who did the property clearing and I asked, is it possible that these portal could be opening again? I said, my son literally is cusping his ears and saying no in the middle of the night, like someone is physically talking to him. His sleep has become disturbed really bad right now. There was one night I went to take him out of his room and just go put him on the couch to try and calm him down. And he's like, no, the guy's out there. The guy's out. And I was like, what guy? He's like, the scary guy's out there. And I'm like, okay, he's 3. Like, he is way more attuned to the spiritual realm than I am. Like, I'm going to believe him if he's telling me that there's something going on out there. So I was like, okay. And I was like, at that point, I did feel a little darkness in a corner within our house. I was like, there is something there. We've done a protected spray in his room, which is helping with him at least not covering his ears at nighttime and waking up like that. It's just a lot that I've noticed. And she said, yeah, those portalways can open up again, especially because you are on sacred land. And because I cleared our land, our 12 acres, no one around me has cleared their land, just I have cleared it. So now those portalways can open up again simply because of the fact that the land around us hasn't been cleared. So the protection that I did for the sacred land is subsiding right now. So she gave me some information to do, and I'm going to get it set up for this week. It's called protective wards. You basically just get a glass jar and you put some salt in it and some other stuff in it, and you bury these wards at the corner of your property. And then we're going to do ours just also too by the front door, which is going to affect pretty much every single door in which we come in because we have about 3 main doors that we use. We're going to do that because we need that extra protection, because I did find when we did do the property clearing at first, things were better in the house. Right now I'm feeling there's more frustration in the house. There's a lot more bitterness happening. There's just a lot of confusion. There's been a little bit more conflict and stuff like that. I'm hoping that again, by going in and doing another property cleanse, clearing those, closing those down, and then putting up the actual protective wards, that is going to help our land at least, because we definitely need to do that. And who knows, it couldn't even be we're getting the negative beliefs from our neighbors, other people in the development, people driving by, whatever the case might be. We could be getting their negativity and that's coming into our land. It could be just our own negativity. It could be our portalways opening up and, you know, our spirits that are coming in and out and doing all of that. I do know that I try to say that you are not welcome in my son's room every night, but like it's in his closet. Like it's there. You know what I mean? It's in his room. Just even trying to block that. We're going to do a property clearing right away, closing those off, and then we're going to go get our protective wards and we're going to put those out, and I will make a note to come back in a month's time and let you know how that's going. Property clearing should be done for so many reasons, just to get the vibration of your house back to neutral, to get the vibration of your house back to where you're getting the highest vibrational good coming in, where you're not bringing on other people's negativity and you're not having that disruptiveness and that frustration and confusion and anger and all of that lower negative vibrations, you're not having that. And you can have that higher vibration, because ultimately everybody wants to be vibrating at the highest vibration. But if you're in a place where it's negative, do you even want to come home? That's the other one. How do you feel when you're coming home? Like, are you good when you leave? Like, I know on a weekend we're like, let's get out of here. Like, there are days where I cannot be in this house anymore. I need to get out. That the energy is almost, I don't want to say suffocating me, but the energy is just not right. And I could spend all my time cleansing the house. But knowing now what I know about the property clearing and doing that, that should cleanse a house quite well. I know my mom had me do her property clearing of her house, and it's night and day difference. It just feels so much lighter, so much more airy, just a lot better. And when they bought that house, we didn't do a property clearing. The lady that was moving from that house was extremely sad. She did not want to leave that house. This was her ultimate house. She loved the house so much so that she cried for a year after moving. Like, she misses it so much. And basically what she did was she raised her daughters there. Her husband was working in Alberta, and her daughters grew up. They moved to Alberta, and she was the only one left in Saskatchewan. So it just made more sense for her to move to where her family was. But she didn't want to leave this house. This house was everything to her. The sadness that came from her having to leave the house was brought into the house. You're selling a house, and that energy is staying there. It's part of that house energy. And so that sadness is in there. I believe probably almost every house probably has a portal that bringing in different disruptiveness and different energies. So it's really good to basically clear your property, get it back to a level state, and start from neutral. And then if you feel like I did, where I'm like, something's off again, then you go in and do another property clearing on it. Again, you don't always know what happened on that property. I heard a podcast where another lady was doing a property clearing for some lady in Denmark. They bought this house and they found this picture of somebody and sent the picture, and that energy of that person was still in that house. I believe they had passed, I think she said, or she wasn't too sure, but either way, the energy of that person was still in that house. It wasn't like super disruptive, but at the same time, it just wasn't their energy, and it was there. And maybe there's, like I said, that sadness that comes with it because you're leaving a place that you truly love and a place of home. It's always great to have that property clearing to get you back to the neutral. Then you can start clearing it when you feel that things are getting a little bit off again, because you'll know what neutral feels like. You'll know what that is, and you'll be like, oh, that really doesn't feel good. If you're selling, best thing to do, get your place back to neutral so that you can get as many buyers interested in your home as possible. I suggest no matter what, if you bought a new home, get the property clearing done, get the other people's energy out. If you're interested in a property clearing, you can go to my Facebook page, which is Elevated Soul Healing, and give me a DM, message me there, and I would be more than happy to connect with you. You can leave a comment on the podcast as well, and I will connect with you. You can go to my podcast Instagram, elevated_pod. My Instagram for doing Akashic Records reading, Reiki, all of that is Elevated Soul Healing. And then my Facebook is Elevated Soul Healing as well. So you can find me there, or you could always leave a comment under the podcast and I will get back to you. I thank you for listening. I hope this was super informative. I just know when we cleaned our energy of our house and we did the property clearing, how better it felt. And again, I know that we need to do it because of where we live and everything that's going on with our land. So we're going to do it again here, but typically you don't have to do it that often. I can't wait to update you guys on putting those protective words down, and then to see how it changes as well and how things evolve from that and what happens with that. So thank you for listening. Please like and share, rate, review, send to your friends. I would appreciate that so much. And definitely connect with me either on Facebook at Elevated Soul Healing or Instagram at Elevated Soul Healing. Thank you so very much for being here today. I love you, and thank you, thank you, thank you.